Hello, welcome to another edition of Core Thoughts. I'm Arjun Jairam, founder and CEO of Baton Systems. In this series, we'll talk about the innovations that are happening in financial markets, specifically around post-trades and the deployment of distributed ledger technologies in markets. Today, I'm going to talk about resiliency. This is a topic that's core and of great interest to all of us here at Baton Systems. When we think about building critical market infrastructure that's going to move trillions of dollars, you expect that infrastructure to be truly resilient. Now, as an engineer and as a technologist, I always thought that resiliency was all about the technology. Now, I stand corrected today. Now, this realization that technology was only one piece of the puzzle came to me about 3.5 years ago when we started the SOC 2 Type 2 audit process. Today, the way I think about resiliency is as a three-pronged approach. One, you need to make sure that the technology stack that you have is truly resilient. Now, that's not the end of it. You need to make sure that's the beginning. You need to support that technology stack that's truly resilient with an operational process that is also resilient, that provides resiliency in the operational process around this. And the last part, which is often overlooked, is the governance structure that is behind this thing. That is the technology and the operations process. The governance process behind the technology and the operations also needs to be resilient. Let's talk about each one in a little more detail. Let's start with the technology stack. Now, clearly, when you're building market infrastructure, it needs to be able to handle hundreds of millions of events, if not 1 billion events in a day. And the thing about this billion events is it's not on a linear scale. You have very bursty and very choppy traffic, but it still needs to be able to handle this billion events in a very effective and cost-effective manner. That's the other part, because you can't just throw hardware at it. It has to be cost-effective. And this is something that has to be built in the way you design your data pipes, in the way you design your storage and your compute infrastructures, and also your monitoring and alerting process. Now, this is an important process because now you're starting to go beyond just technologies and you're going to get into the realm of operational support and the governance structure. Very specifically, let's talk about the SLAs. And not just the SLAs. SLAs will tell you about the throughputs and the latency numbers that you have to keep up. And the next part of it is, what if these SLAs are breached? You need to make sure that you have a business continuity disaster recovery plan, not just documented, but you're actually testing these processes. And the last one is around the governance structure of it. Let's talk about each ones in more detail. Let's talk about the operational process. You have the SLAs, and you need to make sure that you're measuring these SLAs on a continuous manner. You need to also make sure that the operational support that you provide for this is also on a 24/6 process. Today, we do it on a 24/6. We've not had the need to do it on a 24/7. The 7th day, that is usually on a Saturday night, on a Sunday, is when we deploy any new patches or any new updates to the software. But essentially, we provide 24/6 operational support, and we stand behind this particular software. And this is important part of software development. The last part of it comes in the governance. Now, the governance piece ensures that this reliability, or the reliable software that you have and the reliable operational processes that you have is also got a strong governance, which means that there are no single points of failure. You need to make sure that there are no key personnel risks. That is, if one person leaves the job or falls sick or something, God forbid, happens to them, you need to make sure that the company is not at risk, and more importantly, the clients and their data is not at risk. And this is a cultural shift that you have to make as an organization. Now, we started thinking about this about 3.5 years ago, and this has helped us in leaps and bounds because our customers see the value of just operational resilience, and they have helped us along the way to make sure that we've gone from strength to strength. A part of the governance process is to make sure that you have a monthly governance call with the customers, telling them how we met the SLAs. And these are numbers that we are able to pull this very, very effectively and provide them a very automated report for our customers. We also provide them a service portal. We're able to provide them an ability for them to log tickets, monitor the progress of those tickets. These are all important when you're starting to build critical market infrastructures. So hopefully you got a little flavor of how we think about operational resilience and resiliency in general for how we do things at Baton Systems. This is a topic that we can talk for for hours, and I'm sure that you'll have a lot more questions after this. Please feel free to reach out to us in the contact information below. We'll be happy to set up a time and talk to you in more detail. Thank you.